Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. So one of the things I have to sort out on all my cars is obviously the ride height. So if you see the GP behind you, that's currently on JCW suspension, so it's what the GP comes from out the factory. Now for me, it just sits too high. I don't want to mess around with lowering springs, etc. Now I did have a set of KWV1 coilovers on the R52 that I was going to fit into this, but actually something came up that was a bargain, and I was like, nope, got to snap it up. So it may upset a few people out there, but the GP is going on air suspension. So what kit have I gone for? So the Airlift Performance. So Airlift Performance is what I ran on my R56. I have the management on my F56. I had it on my BRZ as well, and I absolutely love the way it works, the way it handles. I know lots of people say, oh, it's not as good, blah blah blah. Trust me, for me and the way I use my car, I absolutely love air suspension, and there are no downsides for me. It's not for everyone, and I'm not on here to tell everyone they've got to go and fit it, but I'm sticking it on my GP. So in terms of fitting air, it's actually very similar to fitting coilovers onto a car. So you've obviously got the suspension struts that bolt into each of the four corners. All we have to do extra is run some air lines. So we just grab a piece there, so you just have to run that front to back. Okay, so we're just taking a look. The GP's up in the air. Obviously we mentioned we're going to put the air struts on, so these are the JCW struts that are on at the moment, so they should be super easy to come off. Now if you look at the brakes, I think they must have had problems with these seizing, because this is, I'm assuming, off an R56, or a stock pair of S brakes on a R56, which are the same as the GP brakes. So we've got some red paint, so we're going to redo all of these calipers while the car's up in the air. So at least they're bright red for now. That's just a temporary fix, because I do want to uprate the brakes in terms of bigger brakes on the car. But for the Alps trip, we're going to stick with the GP ones, but we'll just get those painted, so at least they're freshened up. Now the brake discs, actually ignore the rust, because that's because I've just washed the car a day ago and then put the car away. But they're in really good condition, so no big lip or anything on it. But I just don't like these silver centres, so we've got some black paint, so we're just going to paint those black as well, so they just hide. I don't want those centres to stand out. We want them to hide behind the new wheels. And we can see here as well just some of the mods the car's already got. So that's an OMP lower strut brace as well. You can see, yeah, it needs, we go to the back, it's a similar situation. Brakes are just looking tired. This disc is probably close to needing changing, so we might take a look at that. And obviously the JCW springs, so everything's in really good condition from what I can see so far. And obviously I'm going to keep hold of anything that comes off. I'm not selling any of it. Okay, so if we come in and look underneath, so we've got the air struts in, we've got the braided lines going up through with the brake lines as well, so that it's all nice and safe and inboard. So what I've done, just while everything's apart, is just painted the inside of here, because I hate that going all rusty. And we've also got the brake calipers there. So if you take a look, we've got nice bright red brake calipers. So they were all faded. I think they must have seized, because I think this part's probably off a Cooper S, etc. But they've got the fresh stickers on, and that's all nice and bright and fresh. We are going to go bigger brakes on the front here, but for now we'll keep to that. So what I've done, you're going to have to ignore the mess of the car, but I'll show you sort of a rough idea of the setup that I've done. Okay, so it's still a work in progress, so you've got to bear with me with all the cable ties sticking out. I've got to tidy them all off and tidy some of the routing, but what you'll see here is there's a braided line that comes up through where the brake lines come out in the arch, so it comes up into this space. So I've brought the air lines through there, so I know it's nice and safe, the wheels can't get to it. These then run through the firewall to the back of the car, and I'll show you the inside. But to get one to the other side and keep it protected from all the heat in the engine, I've ran it along the brake lines here. Again, ignore these cable ties, we're going to tidy those all up and cut them off. They're just there for now because I've literally just installed it. So just down here, there is another bung again, so you can see the bung. The car's got to go back up on the ramp, so I've got to put that bung in place. But it runs all nicely, it'll all be tidied away, so you won't be able to see any of the airlines when I'm done. The only thing that'll give it away, as you can see, you've got the adjustable top mount sticking up there. So what we do, we come through the firewall, and again, the car is literally in bits at the moment, so just ignore the mess of it. But we come in through a rubber bung up here. We've run everything under here, so there's a massive channel under the carpet that runs front to back. So I've run all the lines, so you won't see any of it. Come up into here and behind the red. And then again, ignore the boot setup for a second. I'm literally in the middle of doing this all right now, so there's some temporary wires run, but just want to give you an idea. So you can see the two lines from the front coming through down. We're going to run them under the floor here, and this big pile of mess at the moment over here, that's all going to be tidied up. Like I say, this is just temporary, just to test the car out. See, in here, we've not used the original carpet. We've got this from an R53, just so I'm not cutting up the carpet. So all the seat delete's going to stay. I'm not going to cut into any of it. It would be nice to hide it under here, but I don't want to cut any of that up. I want to leave this all as OEM as possible. So it's going to sit in this back portion here, but obviously there's loads of space, so we don't need to worry about any of that. So I'll show you this afterwards once it's all tidied up. This is literally just caught me in the middle of it all. Okay, so you can see the car right now. That's sort of, I haven't messed around with it, but that's roughly drive height. Obviously you can raise that up and down where you want. But in terms of actual lows and how low it can go, we can hold the button on the controller to air it out. And what you can see with the GP is that goes all the way to the ground. So the actual GP side skirt, you can't get your fingers underneath. And if you want to go full height, let's show max height. So we can actually go higher than that, so let's go all the way to the top. Okay, so we'll go a little bit higher than that, but you could easily get a fist into each of the wheel arches there, and that's plenty more for most people. Now obviously if you didn't want it to go as low, you could raise the suspension up like coilovers, and therefore it would sit higher in the higher position. But for me, this is more than adequate in terms of highs. We can go all the way down again. And that just because the tank, because I've been going up and down, let's get it all the way low. Okay, so let's take you up a little bit closer. So you can see that front wheel is well and truly tucked underneath. Ignore that bit of bracket, that's coming off because they rub anyway, so I'm just taking that off. But you can see that side skirt, you literally can't, I can just about get my fingertip underneath, but no more than that. And that rear wheel, the actual lip of the wheel's tucked. Now, I'm not going to be keeping these wheels on the car, so I'm not too fussed about the fitment at the moment. We've got another set of wheels coming that will go on the car. But you can see, it's just as we walk around the front, that goes super low. And if we look at that front lip, again, the bottom of that front lip is on the floor. Now, as I said earlier on in the video, I know it's not for everyone, but I love the fact you have that ability to adjust the height and go from these lows to super highs. So that's the GP on air. Obviously you can see the bright red brakes behind those front wheels. They're not perfect, but as I said, I'm going to be upgrading the brakes anyway on this after the Alps trip. But I just want to make sure this car's up and running and working. So we need to get the new number plates back onto it. There's lots of mods coming for this car. A few bits just to change the look a little bit, not too dramatic, but just to tidy everything up. So if you like today's video, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get alerts every time we upload new content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.